We've known this for years that thoughts turn into things. This applies to thinking or speaking our way to success, and it also applies to restructuring our belief system, which in turn shapes our destiny. So, how do we keep a negative thought from triggering a negative emotion, from triggering a negative outcome? If we know that resistance is simply a negative emotion that has this insane power to block our success, how can we turn it around? In today's episode, we'll talk about one simple trick to do just that. And it's all about asking the right questions so that our brain can find the best outcome. But there's a twist to this, so stay tuned. Well, hi there and welcome. My name is Remy, like Do Re Mi. I'm a best-selling author and creator of the Get Unstuck Revolution. I help extraordinary women with big-ass dreams just like you who want to get unstuck from a life that doesn't work and get to where you know you need to be, into a life that's filled with passions and purpose. Now let's get started with today's episode. Okay, let me jump off the screen here and change over to my laptop. We've talked about it before. Thoughts create reality. It's an exact science, and failure is impossible. So we have to be careful about the thoughts we think and the words we speak. Simple in concept, right? Then why do we struggle with resistance and negative thoughts so much? Resistance is a negative thought that triggers a negative emotion, that triggers a negative outcome that we don't want. And because our brain can sometimes think in questions like, what do I want for dinner? I don't know. Would it be Chinese? Maybe Italian food? Oh, I wonder if Mary's available for dinner. Oh, is that restaurant even open today? Where is my cell phone so I can log into Yelp? Our brain thinks in questions. So if we're working our way through a challenge, it's very likely that our brain is asking questions, lots of questions. And a good number of those questions might be filled with resistance. These innocuous negative thoughts have an insane power to block our success. So how can we turn it around? How can we repattern the questions inside our head to create the success we want to see? Well, today we're going to talk about one simple trick to do just that, and it's all about asking the right questions so that our brain can find the best outcome. And I'm going to add a little twist to this concept. If you aren't getting the success you want in full abundance, however you identify with success, and if you're wanting to tap into a greater knowingness and align with higher thought frequencies so that you can attract the success you're craving, then this episode is for you. Maybe it's time to unlock your hidden power and create something unimaginable, something totally unreasonable, something that maybe even seems impossible to kick your whole life and all your success into high gear for whatever success means for you. And today, I'm going to try and get you one step closer. As business owners, change makers, thought leaders, innovators, disruptors, or even if we haven't found the right fit in the world yet, whether we're talking about our relationships at home or at work, or when we're talking about our finances, sometimes we find that we're moving away from success. So how do we overcome this? How can we find the clarity and courage that we need to believe in ourselves and our own strengths so that we can unlock our hidden power? Well, it's time to be unabashedly, unapologetically, happily untethered to ego thinking. It's time to allow the soul connection instead so we can broadcast our hidden power from the hilltops. This episode is for you if you wonder how to keep negative thoughts from creating negative outcomes, what to do when you just don't know what to do, and how to put a new twist on the old way of doing affirmations. Yep, these episodes are about how to find your hidden power when you want to transform challenges into successes. I like to call it the audacity of alchemy, because when you're feeling stuck, it's never the situation that has you stuck. It's your energy that's become stuck in anxiety, overwhelm, doubts, worries, frustrations, indecision. And often this is because of a spiritual injury that we've experienced, some kind of a hidden trauma. So it isn't the pain of your situation, it's the pain of not being connected in the natural energy of who you really are, of being connected to that magical part of you that's a creative vibrational being who can use positive energies to create what you want and bring it into physical manifestation. Part of this process is to allow your manifestations to materialize and not get stuck in the negative vibrations that block them. These positive energies that we talk about so much are where you find the magic of alchemy. And using your hidden power means using these positive energies to effect transformation. Because if you're like me, then you're someone who has the audacity, the willingness to take bold risks and transform challenges into success. So let's talk about this idea of transformation and the audacity of alchemy, because your choice of frequency can change the course of your journey. And today we're asking a simple question. How can we overcome resistance? How can we keep a negative thought from triggering a negative outcome? You know, our brain is an extraordinary computer and it's constantly running programs. You know those little memory cards that we can plug into a camera? Think of our brain as this huge computer, and we can plug these memory cards into it. Only instead of holding memories like a camera, each card has a different program. One card might be used for learning, and we'd have lots of lots of open memory for those things that we want to learn. And another card might be a program for how we'll use our thoughts, positive or negative. We might even have a card that's corrupted, and it might have destructive thoughts, like for someone who's a serial killer. And we might have a card that's just for protection, like the little warning messages that we get on our computer just before it shuts down for an upgrade. But what I want to do here is to focus in on that little card that's there for protection. It has three primary files that it uses. One file is a thought called, I already know everything I need to know. And a second would be, oh, I've been down this road before. And a third primary thought would be, I don't know what to do, or I don't know how to navigate this. Now, on the first one there, I already know everything I need to know. You might see this with teenagers who simply don't want guidance, or you might see this with an adult who doesn't want to be told that they're wrong. And on the second one there, oh, I've been down this road before, or I know where this is going. Well, this is common for anyone who's been badly burned, and they'll do anything to avoid going through that pain again. If you're a life coach, you might hear these kinds of things all the time as you're trying to guide a client into a new solution. But that third one, I don't know what to do, or I don't know how to navigate this, is often at the core, deep down inside of so many challenges. So when we're faced with an obstacle or a challenge and thoughts like that last one come up for you, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to get through this, I'm unsure about my next steps, these are all concerns about how to navigate the challenge. And it can be dangerous to move from, I already know everything and I've already tried that, I've been down that road before. It's dangerous to fall out of curiosity and into obstinance or despair or being a know-it-all, like I already know that already. And maybe really even close to giving up because there's uncertainty about what to do or how to navigate a situation. So it can be a dangerous drop. What I'd like to do is talk about how to use the power of questions, which is so natural for our brains. So let's talk about using questions to overcome our obstacles and challenges and get things moving in a forward direction that can lead us to the best possible outcome. We're literally repatterning our thought processes to work for us. But before we do that, if you already know that you're ready to dissolve life's obstacles that are on your path to success, if you already know that you're ready to be a creator, then you might be ready for this amazing new tool to get you moving into some better patterns and frequencies where success can find its way to you. It's called the Alchemy Matrix, and it's going to help you call back in your destiny. It's an interactive roadmap designed to help you solve problems, dissolve barriers, heal spiritual injuries, and bring in a lot of clarity so you can create a future that you'd like to see. Just a brief reminder that you can sign up to learn more about the Alchemy Matrix at successcircleworkshops.com, and I promise to tell you more about that here in a minute. But for now, we're talking about destructive thought processes and the power of questions to overcome resistance and turn things around so that negative thoughts don't create a negative outcome. Now, the way to create a positive outcome is to ask the right questions. Our brains are wired to answer questions. No matter what questions we ask, the brain will search for an answer. So let's look at an example. Let me ask you this question. What color was the last car that you owned? Not the one you have now, but the last car that you had, what color was it? Now, that may seem like a weird question to ask, but the question, well, it momentarily hijacked your thought process, believe it or not, and it focused entirely on the last car that you owned. You didn't consciously tell your brain to open up a thought process, but it probably did. Now, for me, I had to first think about the car that I own now, and then I had to try to remember what was that color that the dealer gave it. It was stormy cloud or silver cloud or something like that. And then I had to think to myself, oh, let's just call it champagne. And then I had to think, well, what car did I own last? And for me, it was a Camry hybrid, but I've owned more than one Camry in my life. So I had to think, wait, was that hybrid white? Was it silver? Questions trigger a mental reflex. When you ask a question, that question takes over the brain. And when our brain is thinking about an answer, it literally can't think about anything else. We can think about a variety of things at one time, jumping from one thing to another, but when we ask a question, we become very single-minded. The brain can't contemplate anything else as long as that question is on the table. Our brain can't contemplate anything else but the question that's on the table. So when we transform our thoughts into productive questions, it trains our brain. It trains our brain to help us learn, grow, improve, expand. It trains our brain to find new possibilities. It trains our brain to connect us to new, more positive experiences. If you were to ask a productive question like, how can I fill my business with the very best clients for me? And if you keep that question top of mind and you don't allow negative chitter chatter, but just focus on the question, your brain will literally start searching for the answer and it won't stop. You might bump into certain articles online. You might accidentally find a collaboration partner. You might be exposed to some new training. The idea is to keep a productive question at the front of your mind and not allow any destructive thoughts that could block the answers from materializing. So let's circle back to this one thing that I hear so many people say to me, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to navigate this. I don't know how to get through this. I'm just clueless. I'm unsure about my next steps. Instead of saying, I don't know how to navigate this, or I don't know what to do, which holds us in confusion, overwhelm, panic, anxiety, here's a better question. Instead of saying, I don't know what to do, how about, what would help this along to unfold just beautifully? So I want you to think about a challenge that you've had recently, a recent challenge, something that you've been through very recently. Think about that for a moment. Maybe it was financial, maybe it was a divorce, maybe it was a pivot in your business that was causing anxiety. How productive would this better question have been if you'd kept it top of mind? What would help this unfold just beautifully? It's a question, and your brain will start looking for the answer. You know, I was watching a documentary recently about Susan Smith. Do you remember her? She's the mom who put her two babies in their car seats and while they were sleeping, let her car roll down a boat launch and into the river. And she got a life sentence for that. And in this documentary, I watched her husband, David, and his uncontrollable grief. But eventually, he got remarried and he had two children. And it made me think, at some point, we get to where we just can't take it anymore. We just can't take the pain. We don't want to be there anymore. And so at that point, he could have stopped asking questions like, how could Susan have done this? Or how could those two innocent babies be gone? He could stop asking those kinds of questions when he's ready to be out of the pain and could instead ask, they'll always, always, always be in my heart, those children. And now, what would help me move through this or move forward from this to a place where life can unfold just beautifully? What would help me move through this or move forward from this to a place where life could unfold just beautifully? It's a powerful question. And can you imagine how powerful it might have been through any number of challenges that you've experienced? You know, I'm thinking back to a client of mine who was losing her home to foreclosure after a divorce. And instead of continually asking, how can this be happening to me? Which was holding her in confusion, overwhelm, panic, anxiety. She began to instead ask, how can I move through this? Or how can I move forward from this to a place where life could unfold just beautifully? This works especially well if you've been harboring anger, because your brain starts looking for how to move forward instead of staying stuck in the anger. Remember our foundation here on this podcast, it isn't the situation that has you stuck, it's your emotions about the situation. So this This is a great mantra to get unstuck. What would help me move through this to a place where life could unfold just beautifully? So whether our challenge is a minor inconvenience or maybe it's completely tragic, there comes a point when we're ready to take a baby step forward, and this can be a very empowering question. So let's look at some other possible better questions or some other empowering questions, and this will be today's exercise for you. I'd like you to think of two situations. One would be a current challenge that you're facing today, and the other would be a challenge that you once had. Something that was really tough, something that was life-changing that you've been through in your past. And I would like you to write down the current situation on a piece of paper on the left side of the page, just a bullet point, and then write down the past situation on the right side of the page, just a little bit about it, not a whole paragraph, just a bullet point. And I'm going to put some questions on the screen here, and I'd like you to determine which of these questions could help you with your current situation and which one of these questions would have worked in your past situation. So here we go. What can I learn from this? Or what could I have learned from this? Or what have I learned from this? That's an empowering question. Or how could this situation work for me? Or how could this work to my benefit? Another question might be, how can I open up to possibilities even greater than I've imagined? Or how can I get through this with ease and grace? Or how about, how can I shift my energy to attract beautiful abundance? Or what are the blessings here? Or as a result of the situation, who am I becoming? What a great empowering question that one is. So that's it for today. Maybe something happened to you 2 years, 4 years, 20 years ago, and it still won't resolve. It still bothers you so many years later. Sometimes things won't reconcile the way we try and analyze them, and this is because we've been asking the wrong questions, trying to find the right answers. And sometimes in asking the right questions, it leads us to a new beginning. Now I have one final note here. If you're someone who likes to use affirmations, here's a twist for you. We know that when we use affirmations, what we're really doing is restructuring our belief system. When we use affirmations, we're restructuring our belief system. And I've had a lot of people ask me, what's a limiting belief? What does that even mean? A belief is simply a thought that runs in our head over and over and over. It's a pattern. And when it's been a pattern long enough, it becomes a belief. So if you're someone who likes to use affirmations and mantras, what you're really doing is repatterning your thought processes. You're installing a new belief system. And now here's the twist that I promised for you. Change your affirmations to questions. And in doing this, we're creating a different energy cycle. We're no longer in the cycle of limiting beliefs, which is a fancy way of saying we're no longer in the cycle of negative thought patterns. We're repatterning. We are repatterning our life based on our positive affirmations and mantras. Now, you might remember some time ago we talked about karmic relationships. A karmic relationship is one that's difficult and sometimes impossible to get out of, and it has a lot of pain associated with it because of the underlying lessons. And the way to resolve pretty much any karmic relationship is simple. You simply step out of the cycle. You step out of the energy cycle of negative emotions, frustrations, doubts, worries, anxiety, anger, indecision. You step out of that energy cycle of negative emotions and step onto a different playing field, one that has a foundation in positive thoughts. Remember, it's our choice of frequency that can change the course of our journey. And that's how we wrap up and close out a painful karmic relationship. And it's also how we repattern negative thinking and resistance. It's a choice. So we're going to try this little twist. We're going to change our affirmations to questions. And in doing so, we're changing the energy cycle that we've been in. So let's try this one on. The affirmation is, I'm allowing things to move forward with ease and grace. And that becomes the question, how can I best allow things to move forward with ease and grace? The question allows your brain to go out and search for an answer so that you're not stuck in an old energy cycle. Remember, our brains are wired to answer questions. No matter what questions we ask, our brain will search for an answer. And sometimes the way to create a positive outcome is to ask the right questions. So let's try another one. The affirmation is, every day in every way, I'm becoming more and more prosperous. And you can flip that into a question. How can I become more and more prosperous every day in every way? Cool, right? So that's the little twist for today as we relieve any resistance or destructive thoughts and begin to tap into your hidden power as you come into the flow of positive possibilities for success. Remember, all that's required from you is a shift in frequency because your choice of frequency can change the course of your journey. I hope this helps you as you're using the powers of alchemy to transform challenges and obstacles into positive new successes. But if you still can't get your head around what's got you stuck, you can tell me about it. You can leave a question here, or if you're someone who has the audacity, the willingness to take bold risks to transform challenges into success, you can find out more about our events at successcircleworkshops.com. This is where you can learn more about the audacity of alchemy and how to unlock your hidden power. You'll get a personalized interactive roadmap that's custom designed to get you unstuck by unlocking your hidden power to create big, magical changes. Alchemy. You'll learn to solve problems, dissolve barriers, and bring success to you. So don't wait. Go to successcircleworkshops.com and get your personalized alchemy matrix package right now. And here's what you'll get. A full-color workbook filled with hands-on exercises to inspire your creative energies. You'll get membership in your very own success circle for high-level masterminding and networking. You'll get your very own customized alchemy matrix to unlock your hidden power and bring success to you, and your very own personal unstuckologist. Remember, the alchemy matrix is the only tool of its kind, only available here. So if you're ready to approach your life's challenges with audacity, if you're ready to finally banish frustration, indecision, and the negative spiral, if you're ready to watch success materialize right before your eyes, then don't settle for another minute of ordinary. Go to successcircleworkshops.com and get your personalized alchemy matrix package now and watch the magic start to happen. Thanks for joining me today, and I'm wishing you a life filled with all the alchemy you need to bring success to you. Feel free to share this video with anyone you know who's feeling stuck, and I look forward to seeing you in one of our upcoming success circles. You can find out more at successcircleworkshops.com.